Welcome to the Delaware Mortgage Rate Weekly Mortgage Market Rate Update for the week of July 21st, 2014. Hello, I'm John Thomas with Primary Residential Mortgage, here to give you an update. Well, last week was kind of a roller coaster ride for mortgage rates. We started off at the beginning of the week, bonds were selling off, and then but we were able to recover at the end of the week. If you take a look at the bond chart on the screen, you can see the downward trend there at the beginning of the week, but then Wednesday we were able to hammer out a bottom, and then you see the green candles and the arrow up. The short-term trend for the bonds has been to move higher, which helped move interest rates back to about where they started for the week. So let's dig into some news to see what the heck's going on with that roller coaster ride. But just for you, short-term, recommend floating your Delaware mortgage rate to see if this short-term trend can hold and we can see rates move slightly lower. So recommend floating your rate to start the week, but be careful. We got to see what's going on because rates have been real volatile. We had kind of a roller coaster ride over the last couple of weeks. Bond going up, selling off, hitting the bottom, going back up, selling off, and now back up again. So the first big piece of news last week was the Malaysian airline Flight 17 was shot down over Ukraine by a Russian-made SA-11 surface-to-air missile. That's what's been confirmed, but it was shot from territory controlled by the Russian separatists in the Ukraine. So it looks like everything points to the Ukrainian rebels shooting down the plane, and that military hardware came from Russia, who's been supporting them. So we'll have to see what's going on with that, but that is causing more instability in the area. And then the next big piece of geopolitical news is the Israeli army did launch a ground invasion of the Gaza Strip to destroy some tunnels that were tunneled under the wall there into Israel for Hamas militants to make attacks. So they've moved in. Hamas has fired over thousands of rockets, breaking the truce that was held while they were doing peace talks being brokered through Egypt. Hamas has cut that off, so Israel has moved back into Gaza. So all that uncertainty, geopolitical news going on is called what we call a flight to quality in investors. So they've been selling stocks, moving into the safe trade, which is bonds and treasuries. That is what helped mortgage bonds move higher at the end of the week, getting rates back where they started. Other economic news we saw on Thursday, release of the weekly initial jobless claims, and that came in at 302,000 claims, down 3,000 claims from the previous week. And the weekly initial jobs claim been trending lower since April. The 4-week average set a new recovery low of 309,000 for a 4-week average. So jobless claims doing real good there. We really like that. But then we saw some other economic news. We saw the retail sales report for June 2014, and that's showing a cooling off in retail sales. It was only up 0.2%, which is the lowest this year since January's negative 0.9%. Now, retail sales, remember, account for 1/3 of all consumer spending, and it's one of the main drivers for the U.S. economic activity. So declining retail sales is something we need to watch to make sure that's not a trend, because that would definitely hurt. But it does support the weak GDP that we saw. Weak GDP being backed up by weak retail sales. So if we hopefully get retail sales kick off, and that will get the GDP to start moving into better territory. Housing news. We did see a good report in housing. The National Association of Home Builders, NAHB, Housing Market Index for July 2014 came out better than expected at 53. This is the first time the index was above 50 this year. The report shows a rebound in the housing market. Builders are attributing the jump in the housing index to an improved labor market. Now, we did have some bad news in housing, though. Housing starts for June 2014 were very gloomy. They declined by 9.3% from May to June, and to an annual rate of 893,000 units, which was well below the 1.020 million expected. Building permits for June 2014 also dropped 4.2% to an annual rate of 963,000. Now, building permits is a sign of future construction. So both of these disappointing numbers, they were disappointing, but they're not terrible. And these reports are both in conflict with the NHB's housing market index, but the market index more recent report that's July, the others were June. So we're going to have to see how the numbers shake out for July for housing starts and buildings permit to see if the most recent report from the National Association of Home Builders is actually the accurate one to look at. So we got some mixed news in housing. We definitely got to see how July plays out for that on the new construction front. Now, on the local news, the next free first-time homebuyer seminar is coming up Saturday, August 16th. That is in Dover, Delaware at the Holiday Inn, and that's from 10 a.m. to noon. Now, the next one in Newark is August 23rd, and that's a Saturday, and that's in Newark at the Christiana Hilton Hotel, also from 10 a.m. to noon. You can register for either one of those events by giving us a call in the office, 302-703-0727, or you can register online, www.delawarehomebuyerseminar.com. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.